I have a different team at number 3, and there's a reason for this. It's the Suns, okay? And here's why. Because if the Suns make the play-in, it means that they're doing something right, because right now they're 2.5 back from the Mavs for the 10, 3.5 back from the Kings, 4 back from the Clippers. They have the toughest schedule by far remaining in the NBA. They're facing teams with a win percentage average of 59%. 20 games remaining. Twice they face the Celtics, the Bucks, the Rockets, and the Kings. They face one time the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Lakers, Cavs, Wolves, Knicks, Warriors, Thunder. Like, if they beat enough of those teams to move into the play-in, and then they advance out of the play-in, beating whoever that they get to beat, that's got to indicate that this team might have fixed what was wrong. And like, we're coming off like within a week ago, KD's like brushing off Budenholzer. They're relying on Colin Gillespie to win a game in the fourth quarter, but maybe it had to be weird. So I just think I'm putting the Suns there because if they actually get in, like, they had a great run, right? Like, does that logic make sense?
If they get things together and they basically become a 70-win team to get into the play-in there, maybe. But
exactly.
Remember, they got swept last year. They're 4-7 against the spread in the playoffs with Kevin Durant. That's not a good sign. Is that even if they get in to the play-in scenario, it hasn't been great in the playoffs with the KD Suns. So I'm not super worried about the Suns, even if they get into the playoffs. I still have the Clippers as a...
But that strength of schedule, though, like, if they get through those teams, that's crazy. It seems impossible for them to make the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. If they make it as the 8 or 7, like, that means something really is magically happening with them.
Or it means that KD at his age is going to be barely able to walk because he went through that gauntlet to get into the playoffs. So, like, one way or a counterpoint, they might not have anything left if they go through basically a 600 win percentage strength of schedule getting into the playoffs. So I don't know, man, because what you're saying is the playoffs start now. It's at Denver, at Dallas, at Memphis, at Houston, SAC, Lakers, Toronto. There's of the 17 of the next 20 games are against 500 or better teams. So the playoffs start now. And so you're saying that KD and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal and your guy Bol Bol are going to basically turn into a playoff juggernaut over the next 20 games and then scare the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Lakers. I'm not seeing it. I got the Clippers ahead of them.
All right, so I have the Clippers number 4 on my rankings here, which, I feel like this is a fair spot. What's the case for them up to number 3? And you argued for maybe even number 2 for the Clippers.
Yeah, Kawhi looks great. Kawhi looks not like peak Kawhi, but he looks good enough that I feel like if you have James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, my big variable here is they looked such a different team without Norm Powell. I never thought I'd say this, that the Clippers need Norm Powell so badly right now that they're just not really reaching what they need to be without that guy who's, even with Kawhi back, he's still a guy that is going to be able to get you 20, 25 points a game. And the 3-point shooting, they're not a good 3-point shooting team, but with Norm Powell, that is an elite floor spacer. He does a lot for them. And without him over the last few weeks, it hasn't been pretty. I thought they'd be better with Kawhi back, but without Norm Powell, it hasn't been pretty. So if they do get into the playoffs and they have Kawhi and James Harden, that's a scary team. That team scares me more than a KD and Devin Booker team.